All right, guys, here we are. We are getting ready for our conversation with Moshe. Let's bring Moshe in. I did cut things a little short today. We're going to be running a little short today, and that's good. We both have commitments that we need to be getting to. In addition to this, so hi, Moshe. Welcome
Hey, Jim.
aboard. Good to see you. How are you?
You too. Good. Glad to
Good.
be back.
Glad to have you. Here we are getting ready to talk about trusting your process. And we were talking a little bit ahead of time, just briefly. I just did a show recently on loss, which was a pretty intensive experience all the way around because a lot of amazing insights into that. And we were thinking about this idea of trusting your process and what loss has to do with it. So we're going to get into that a little bit later on. We're going to talk about largely. I think I want to focus into. Let's look at the concept of trust within our own process and within our own lives, and then let's look at the things that are underpinning it that maybe that we don't recognize are the reasons that we're not trusting who we are and trusting the process that we're in. It seems to me, in my own experience, that this has been, or this continues to be, a consistently challenging place for people because somehow we have decided that we can't trust ourselves because of the power we've given to everything outside of ourselves, to whatever greater or lesser degree that is. And I was thinking about this also, Moshe, in terms of each of us navigating our own process and how cool it is that we can reach, because we're friends outside of this environment, and that we spend time talking about our own process and our own evolution, and that we can see in each other the how the trust works. That yeah, sometimes you're confronted by difficult truths, or sometimes you have to look at something, a behavior or a belief system that we've held on for a long time. But because of the underlying trust in the process, there is a willingness there that you just kind of stop and go, okay, and you just take it in. And one of the things, emotional, we'll talk, and he'll say, okay, I'm full, can't take any more right now, you know.
Great.
And so we get to just trust that, and then we take that into our own experience and stay in that state of trust to let the process unfold naturally, because what we realize is there's nothing to be afraid of, absolutely nothing to be afraid of. So give us a little intro, Moshe, if you want to, or your thoughts about what I've said so far, as far as diving into this whole idea of trusting your process.
Yeah, I love this topic. And I think trust is really critical to how we move through life. If it's fear based, if it's rooted in love, if it's some variation. And and it does get murky sometimes in my experience, in my own life and coaching and working with others, where on one hand, we talk a lot about surrendering, we're not really in control, uh, quit trying to overmanage things, let the universe do its thing. And on the other hand, on the other extreme, we're taught to say, okay, run your life, manage your life, make good decisions, be responsible, and so on. When you and I talked before, you mentioned co-creation. That's really a marriage of the two.
Yeah.
But that tension between trust and control, I think, is really important.
Yeah, that's a really great starting point to look at where we put our attention. Um, and what I mean is that when you talk about control, that is the imminent expression of lack of trust. To me, control is ultimately the experience of I don't trust anything or anyone except my ability to do. And if I can do, then my world is good. And it is an approach. And again, it's not about judgment of what's right and what's wrong. This is about illuminating things so that you can see them from a different perspective. And while control can be a valuable tool for a period of time or for a moment, ultimately, I don't feel like it doesn't build trust for sure. It builds, and to me, it kind of builds an inflated idea of who I am because I can control a physical environment. But that person is not connected to the who I really am. Does that make sense?
It does. It
It's
does.
like it's a connection to a very limited focus. And so yeah, you can accomplish through that, yeah, you can. But is that about trusting your process, or is it about forcing your will? I guess is where I'm going with that.
Yeah, that's a good distinction.